In today's video I'm going to be comparing different film posters that are currently on the internet and out for films. Now the first film poster we look at is the poster for Skyfall. Now this I'm contrasting to minimalist and standard film posters because, as I said in my brainstorming video, I'm going to want to include minimalist features, and this was also mentioned in my research into front covers for films. So I'm comparing standard film posters as well as the generic film posters. So as we see in the Skyfall minimalist film poster, there is very little happening. You see a very plain background that looks almost cloudy in a way, which I think plain is quite nice. It's not too much distracting you from like the main features on the film poster. Also you see what looks like James Bond, or is James Bond, played by Daniel Craig, as on the front, so he's also the main centre of attention, and it sort of contrasts into dripping blood, which is like the feature you see at the beginning of the Bond films where you're looking down the barrel of the gun and it goes into the blood when it's been shot, which is conventional for those films, so I think that's a very good aspect to include. And then the next thing we see obviously is the Skyfall title, which gives you clear insight into what James Bond film it actually is, so you'll know it's one of the newer ones. This is the main thing you'd want to see. Contrasting this down to a standard film poster, we'll see the Django Unchained, which I mentioned in my research into film posters. Now this poster has a lot more going on in it. As you can see, there's three people to look at, and also there's a lot more text involved compared to the Skyfall one, where it was literally just the title of the film and maybe there's three little lines of text which are sort of almost unreadable. Compared to the Django Unchained one, there is a lot more going on, so you've got a lot more, so you've got all the listed names of the actors in the film. You've got when it's coming out, so it says Christmas, and also it's got the director's name, Quentin Tarantino, and on the top it's got like a little strapline explaining a little bit more information, like maybe a quote from the film, which is also very good to include in a film poster because it maybe can tease and intrigue the audience into wanting to go and watch the film, so they have some maybe more insight into what the quote means itself. And also they've included the blood feature as well, but in a different way. It's sort of very less animated in a sense, it's more like blood splatter, so this is very in a way conventional for the type of film it is. I like this one because it doesn't include a heavy amount of detail, but at the same time it has enough for you to know what's going on in a way. The next one we look at is the minimalist Home Alone film poster. Now this one is very cool indeed because it is very simple, so it includes simplification, which is something I want to definitely include in my film poster. So as you can see, there's the two hanging tins of paint, which if you watch the Home Alone films, or I believe it's the first one where he's left home alone at Christmas, you'll know that this is one of the booby traps that he does leave for the burglars trying to enter the house. Like it's on the stair section where that hanging paint comes and knocks them both down the stairs. So this is very specific in terms of including specific details from the film. Now this was likely done after, so post making the film, because the minimalist style has sort of recently arose and sort of become very generic. Well, not very generic, just a detail use. You see some independent filmmakers using this as posters, so this wouldn't have likely been an original poster. The same for some of the actual film posters mentioned. They'd usually be more like the Django posters and the ones I'm going to mention, so in conclusion it's sort of less conventional, but then again it's creating its own convention, so you are going to follow the conventions by making a minimalist film poster. Also again, it has very little text. It says Home Alone and that's it, so it's very specific, and if you saw this film poster, you'd know exactly what is happening or what the film is going to be about. Now, as we move on to the next one, we can see The Dark Knight. This is a standard magazine front cover, poster front cover, sorry. Now this is I find this one very cool because it has the Batman logo sort of etched into one of the skyscrapers in fire. Now this in a way is a very good use of editing that they've used for the film. And also it's very simple itself, because all it's really got is Batman on the front and the logo above and the title of the film, The Dark Knight, and what date it comes out, so it says July the 18th. So this is very specific for a standard film poster, which is like quite good. I'd find this is an inspiration. Also, it includes some names of actors or possible directors there, so it gives you insight into what actors have been in the film. So if you have a certain actor that you really like and sort of aspire to, it might think, oh, he or she is in the film, I'm going to watch it because I love that actor. So it definitely gives the viewer time to think who's in the film, and enables them to see if they would maybe see it depending on who is in the film. Now we move on to The Godfather, which is a minimalist film poster. Now this one is very cool indeed, because the features are very specific and they look quite nice the way that they've been edited. Now, as you can see, it's clearly the suit of someone in particular. We don't know. It is the Godfather, obviously, but you can see the little bow tie on the top left, which is very interesting because it is animated, so it does look very cool, and you would know what this is by seeing it. Then you can see the clear white shirt. Now it has got some filter overall onto it to make it look a bit dirty, which is a good editing factor. Also you see like the red rose, which has been animated, which also looks very good, and it's very simple, and you know who would wear it, and maybe watching the film would give you some explanation into what the meaning of the red rose is. Also, the colour red signifies blood, death, which is a definite hint to the Godfather films. And as you can see at the bottom right, you've got The Godfather in big bold text, which draws your eye straight towards that, so you're going to have some insight into what the actual film is about. And then under that you see like who the film is by, so it gives you insight into directors. So personally, I would definitely watch a film by Quentin Tarantino or Martin Scorsese, just because I love their films and their work. So it gives you some idea into maybe whether you should watch it or not. Now the final film poster I'm going to be comparing is the Marvel Avengers. Now I picked this one because it is at the different spectrum in terms of simplification. It has a lot going on, which is totally opposite compared to such as the Skyfall or the Home Alone minimalist poster. Now although these posters are very popular, it can maybe distract you in terms of looking for specific details and maybe give too much away, which you also see in film trailers. Now certainly for the Avengers trailer, a lot was given away, so I find that keeping a film poster quite specific and not including like a lot of detail can maybe draw and maybe intrigue the viewer into wanting to see the film, instead of giving copious amounts of detail away and sort of ruining it in a way. But also I do like is it includes all of the Avengers, so you can see you got Tony Stark, you got the Hulk, you got Thor, Captain America and such. They're all the main characters, so you're gonna, if you've been watching the specific films like Iron Man, they're all brought into one film, which is the Avengers. So if you're a lover of just one sort of superhero, it is worth watching because it includes every single one of them. And also it has the top actors' names at the top, which again, as I said, you got Robert Downey Jr., he's a really good actor, and I personally like his work, and I would watch the film because of that he's in the film. Also it has the Marvel, which will intrigue Marvel viewers in terms of the comic readers to wanting to watch the film, because it's a film production instead of like as in a comic as such or a magazine. Also you got that's the first thing I saw when I looked at the poster, is the big text signifying what the film's name is. So Avengers, you've got a big text and it stands out significantly.